Hello everybody, Sunday Adelaja here. Today I want to talk about the discussion and the dispute that is going on in Nigeria especially and all over the world between the people who believe that it is 5G that is responsible for coronavirus, the conspiracy theorists, and the people who say no, technology doesn't have anything to do with coronavirus. So that's what I want to talk about today. What is the connection between 5G and coronavirus? Well, I think most people who know me will know my position by now that there is absolutely no connection between a virus. A virus is a living organism that is small, micro, smaller than any microchip that we could think about. And there is no way we could put, 5G into the virus that is not even visible. Some people think it's the influence of the virus that is causing, it's the influence of the technology that is causing the virus. It's such an utter nonsense that there is nothing as insane as that. Okay, there are some concerns, and there have been people who have been having concerns about the 5G. But the concerns that they have about the 5G, it doesn't have anything to do with biological and virus kind of concern that people are now coming up with. This one started just in January, and they are connecting it to a conspiracy theory and things like that. But really, 5G, just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. And for people like pastors to be teaching us about the effect of 5G, people like Pastor Chris, when you are not a professional there, if anybody should argue about this, let the biologists and the scientists and the physicists argue their case. Let the professionals talk about it. But, pastors, they don't know enough to be able to say so emphatically. The way Pastor Chris is talking about is so emphatic that it is coronavirus is from 5G. How could you affirm such a thing? It's a ludicrous thing. It's a scandal to do that, because before you could make such a pronouncement, you have to do your research, and your research has to be scientific based. You have to have scientific base and scientific proof before you could even have hypothesis. Talk less of, conclusion. Coming to that high conclusion and going on national television, worldwide television, and proclaiming that 5G is responsible for coronavirus is utterly irresponsible, to say the least. Now, I'm not even going to talk about Dino Melaye. Dino Melaye that one is just a joke. It's just a laughing stock, and I'm not even going to discuss him. He read something somewhere and he ran with it. The same thing with Johnson Suleiman said God told him. It is a war between all these conspiracy theories. How could God tell you it is two countries fighting? This is China and America fighting. That's why coronavirus has been spread all over the world. How can you put God inside? Why should we even mention the name of God when everybody could go to the internet? Everything that Suleiman was talking about, you could go to the internet, you will see everything word by word in almost every internet, any Google search that you want. You will find all those things Suleiman said God told him on the internet. So it is now God that is the internet of Nigerian prophets and pastors. Because even what Chris is talking about is also in the internet. It is not God that gave him any revelation. God doesn't speak to these men. These are not men of God. These are God of men. They have become God. So to men. So whatever they say, people believe them. They say God says it, and they just believe it. They say it is coronavirus is coming from 5G. They just believe their words. But my position is that there is no connection between 5G and coronavirus. And I've also studied and I've heard what experts are talking about it. And I'm going to give you the opinion of experts right now. But in my personal opinion, I believe that 5G is one of the greatest things that is about to happen to our world, but especially to Nigeria. Because Nigeria right now is in the top 10 countries of the world that are moving fast to use the 5G technology. Nigeria and Africa missed out in the earlier technologies. In the Industrial Revolution, we missed out. In the information technology, we missed out. In the computer era, we missed out. We missed out almost in everything. But we have one guy right now, I think they call him Issa Patami or something. That man, Nigeria should be praying to him. Nigeria should be, I don't know, Nigeria should just be praying to God that God should keep this Issa Patami or whatever is for us. He's in charge of our telecommunication. You know, the man is a genius. I mean, England was looking for him, and England employed him to work for them when he studied. Even Saudi Arabia was looking for this man, and they also employed him to work for them. I think even the US was looking for him to work for them, and Nigeria managed to bring him back to Nigeria, and he's the one behind the next revolution of Nigeria. I mean, this guy is a God blessing to Nigeria, and he's one of the few leaders that has foresight and vision. So, and even Boko Haram knows about this guy. Boko Haram has issued a statement and has issued a statement about his killing, that they hate him and they want to kill him because he's bringing so much revolution and reformation into our telecommunication industry that we are now winning the fight against Boko Haram thanks to his intervention. And because of the things he's bringing, we are talking about unemployment. This 5G is going to bring employment to our youth. We are talking about hunger. This 5G age is going to bring entrepreneurship, and is going to bring the ability to our people to be able to create jobs for themselves. A lot of things that are there that will resolve a lot of our problems right now that we're having in Nigeria. But now our religious, mundane minds is now fighting against this thing. I mean, this is so sad. And some of these so-called politicians, the failure politicians like Dino Melaya, are coming against it. And this is one of the best things that could happen to us. Like I said, we are in the forefront right now of the countries that are introducing 5G. We have not introduced it yet. We are just building the system, and people are even fighting against it. This is ridiculous. The same people that they are trying to work for to be able to give them employment, to give them job, to give them money, food on their table, they are the ones now conspiring against the government. It's like this government of Buhari can never do anything good. I mean, it doesn't matter what your position is. Either you are in the opposition, or you hate Buhari, or you don't like him. When they do something that is right, you've got to commend that. You've got to recognize it. And I want us to see a video right now before I go forward.
The Minister of Communications, board members and senior staff of Nigeria's telecommunications giant MTN PLC arrived at the venue of the 5G demo presentation in Abuja.
We would like only the minister, the board, the VIP guests.
The minister is taken on a short tour round the kiosks, where he's introduced to the 5G demo and its advantages over the 4G technology. MTN 4G is good, but the 5G, when fully launched, is capable of providing its users a speed in data and voice services that is 20 times faster than the current 4G. In his remarks, the Minister of Communications says the federal government will speed up all the processes required for the official launch of the new 5G technology.
I believe as long as we are able to handle the potential challenges, the deployment of 5G is very critical to our economy because of so many advantages of 5G. The issue of latency, the issue of speed, and many more. And we are proud of our MTN for being the first to still embark on this 5G trial. Thank you very much.
Officials of MTN Nigeria PLC described the 5G technology as a transformational change when it is fully launched.
As I've indicated, there are many use cases that have been unlocked by 5G. In the past, you cannot do remote surgery, control a drone, or other things that require ultra-low latency. With 5G technology, this can now be done. This is now possible.
I can also tell you that for even security services, for drone services, for what we in the technology area we call Internet of Things, where machines are also able to communicate with themselves and with humans. 5G is the way to go.
MTN Nigeria Telecommunications PLC is a leading player in the telecom industry. And with a successful demo launch of 5G and a possible actual launch of the technology soon, MTN is no doubt setting the pace in Nigeria's telecommunications sector.
All right. Now, remember that name. Issa Pantami is the name. I've been trying to look for the name in some of my programs. But that guy, let God just keep him for us. You know, we need this kind of leader that will think ahead. Remember this. Foresight is about thinking ahead. It's about seeing ahead. And it's about going ahead. Foresight is about going ahead to see what the future holds for us. And only the people who have foresight control the future. For us to even play a role in the future of the world economy, we need this technology. This technology is the only time, it's going to be the first time Nigeria is going to be at par. It's going to start something at the same time together with the rest of the world. Normally, we catch up only 10 years later, 20 years later, 100 years later. But now we are lucky to have such a man, Issa Pantami. I need to meet him because I just need to shake his hand and commend him for what's there. If you see his plans, go and study him. You will know that we are just so lucky to have him, and that he's spearheading this revolution with 5G in Nigeria is commendable. But what do we, instead of that kind of commendation, like I said, some mediocre minds are busy fighting against this movement. And most of the people who are doing this are Christians. That is what is sad about it. Some of the people who are doing this, who are fighting against this, are supposed to be Christians. Christians are supposed to be the most progressive people in the world, but rather they are the ones stopping the wheel of progress. And that's why I needed to do this. And concerning the virus, that 5G is the reason why we have virus. What about Iran? Iran is a country in the world that has one of the highest cases of coronavirus. And they are one of the countries in the world that has never even introduced 5G at all. They have not even talked about it. They don't even have anything in connection with 5G, and they have coronavirus more than most countries in the world. So it's not about, because some people go about telling stories. Oh, okay, Italy has it because Italy has erected 5G technology mast. Spain has it because of the 5G mast. And, you know, this other country and this. No. It's not connected, guys. Wake up. I read today what scientists are saying about this. You know, one scientist, or a group of scientists came together and studied the accusation that there is a connection between coronavirus and 5G. You know what they call it? They call it complete rubbish. Complete rubbish. Only stupid people could connect those things. Or people who are just conspirators, of, you know, and conspirators that are just want to destroy everything, that just want to do things against humanity. You know, these are conspiracy theorists. These theorists that are just coming up with something to make name for themselves. Only people like that could come out with something that is ungrounded and unfounded like this. And I'm going to give you some statistics for you to know, some information for you to know that there is no way that this could be connected. You know, in England, some people have even read the fake news to the extent that they have now gone destroying the mast all over England. And it's unfortunate. You know what NHS in England, the NHS is like their medical ministry, the Department of Medicine, Health Department in England. You know what they said about it? Their director, Stephen Povis, he said the idea even that there is a connection between 5G and coronavirus is the worst kind of fake news. The worst kind of fake news. And if you say that the whole medical industry and the whole medical health industry in England doesn't know what they're talking about, then I don't know what you have. Okay, so I don't know what people like Chris have. I don't know. Do you think you have so many research centers as the whole of England? And do you think you have as many research centers as the whole world to have come up with your own? You didn't come up. You don't even have any research centers. You didn't even do any research. You just go on the internet. You come with some fake news, and then you are saying God told you, and you got revelation. So rubbish. So it's just a pity what people try to just make, to just spread some news one way or the other, and but they are talking about radio waves. that radio wave could create fire. We've been using radio waves for so long. Radio waves the television, the fact that you are watching me right now is as a sort of radio waves. And that is the same thing that 5G is going to use. The fact that you watch television in your house, those are radio waves. It's the same thing that 5G is going to use. So these theories are just foundless. They don't have basis to them. And there are two camps to it. One camp says that 5G can suppress the immune system. Okay, if 5G could suspend the immune system, then your television should have been suppressing your immune system, or your radio, or your iPhone, or your device that you are using. All those things are using the same radio wave. So, and then the other group says that it is actually the 5G technology that is actually creating the virus in men. I mean, that is like another person from the University of Reading in England, who is the professor of cellular microbiology. I think they call him Dr. Simon Clark, says that is complete rubbish, that 5G could generate virus. It's a complete rubbish. And we shouldn't just believe anything we read on the internet. That the idea that 5G lowers your immune system also doesn't stand up to scrutiny. That's one that professor said. So we should not just keep on believing in anything that people say on the internet. Now, let me give you some statistics and some analogy. 5G technology uses the frequency of 5 gigahertz. Now, 5 gigahertz, between 5 gigahertz to 12 gigahertz. Now, that is what 5G technology will be using. Remember that, between 5 to 12 gigahertz. Now, let's see the drawing that I have here for you. I don't know if this can show it. Okay, it cannot show it here. All right, but if you notice, look at down here where my hand is. Yeah. You see there? Yes. You see that it is between what your radio in the house is using now and what your microwave is using. So 5G is just between. It's between you use microwave at home, right? And you use microwave every day. It's the same level of gigahertz that microwave is using, that 5G will be using. The same level of gigahertz that radio is using, microwave, that radio is using, that's exactly the same kind of wave, radio wave that 5G will be using. It's the same kind of, like your mobile phones, the same kind of gigahertz that and radio microwaves that we'll be using, that's radio wave, that is exactly the same kind of radio wave that 5G will be using. So 5G is just the same thing as microwave, your telephone devices and everything. Radio wave is the same radio wave gigahertz they will be using. Now, let me give you the amount, the statistics. So, like I said, the 5G technology is going to be using between 5 to 12 gigahertz. Okay. Now, let me give you the other ones, the other statistics, what other things we'll be using. Now, let's talk about your kitchen. The microwave that you use in your own kitchen is already using 2.63, let's say 3 gigahertz is what your microwave uses. If your microwave is using the wave of 3 gigahertz and 5G is going to be using 5, it's the same thing. It's the same thing and how many times do you cook in a day? How many times do you cook in a week? If radio wave could have generated coronavirus, your microwave should be generating that virus. But have you also ever gone to work in a company or in an industry, in a plant, in a factory? Now, those factories and companies that you go to work in, most of them have at least 10 gigahertz in the industrial laboratories and in the industrial complexes. They have gigahertz that they are using at least 10 and upward. But you are going to work every day and nothing has happened to you yet. Virus is not entering to you. And you're going to work. Okay, let's leave work and industry. What about satellite, TV satellite that you use in your house? Do you know how much that uses? Like, let me remind you again, 5G uses 5 to 12 gigahertz. But the satellite that is in your house that you are using to watch your TV is using 12 to 18 gigahertz. So, and you are watching TV every day, you living in your house, you didn't get virus. Radio, the radio mast, the radio that you are using to, in your car you have radio, and there are radio masts all around us. Those radio masts are between 4 to 8 gigahertz, and nothing is happening. Everything is okay. You are not dying. Military, military has, stations everywhere. They use higher frequencies. Now, the frequencies that military uses at least will be 170 gigahertz and more. And nothing is happening to anybody. We're okay. So, to come up with that kind of story means that we then have to get rid of television, we need to get rid of radio, we need to get rid of work, we need to get rid of factories, we need to get rid of ovens in our houses, we need to get rid of microwave, we need to get rid of telephone. Even sun itself, we need to get rid of it, because sun itself is radio wave. So please, don't let anybody come and, spoil market for Nigeria in this little thing where we're trying to come up and be at par with the rest of the world. It's a laughing stock to even think that some people are believing that rubbish with this conspiracy theory. Some people also come up with some conspiracy theories that that it is Bill Gates that decided to kill Africans. You know what? If Bill Gates had been a prophet like some of your GOs, he would have declared himself a prophet and the whole world would have believed him, because he prophesied about this virus, not because he's a prophet, he doesn't even believe in God, but because of foresight. He's able to do research and able to come to the conclusion that the world is not ready. If not because of him, we would have been in a war situation. So now somebody that's tried to help us to prevent calamity, now we are accusing him of being responsible for the thing. I mean, it's like turning your good to evil. That man, we almost thank God for him that he is doing research, using his own money because of the work he has done, and because of the work he has done against polio, malaria. That's what he has come to the conclusion that the world is not ready for an outbreak, and this thing could happen, and that we should be ready. But people are saying, no, it is vaccine. He wants to give you vaccine, and it is Christians that are spreading this kind of conspiracy theory. It's just a pity. Sometimes I'm even ashamed to call myself a Christian because of this kind of Christians. Just a pity. Just a pity. But I hope a new generation of Christians will arise that will be using their mind to think straight. For the love of God, church and nation. Peace. Sunday Adelaja here. If you believe in nation building principles, please like this video, share it with your friends, and let's change our nations together.